No, we can do a proper intro if you want. Welcome to Bad Movie Brother.
You took my line.
Go ahead and intro.
Greetings all.
Jake,
Thank you. Appreciate
begin
you.
the show.
Greetings all. My name is Jake S. Weissman. We're trying something new today. This is a show we call Video Papa, and I interview guests. It's a video interview podcast, and my first guest is straight from Los Angeles, King of Canton, Lucas Guy Taylor.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Are you the Video Papa?
I am the Video Papa.
Okay. Good to know.
Had to pick a name.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say straight from Los Angeles. I do live here now. But this is Rogers Park. Right behind me. That's where my heart is.
I mean, your heart may be here, but you are emphatically not a Chicago filmmaker. You are a Canton filmmaker.
I'm officially, yeah, a little bit, because I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself an LA filmmaker, I guess, because I haven't really made anything here aside from the short me and Marissa did, like that I shot for Marissa, but I didn't write or direct that, The Collector.
Where can we watch The Collector?
YouTube. I know how you do it. You're gonna put up a thing in the corner. I've seen your shows.
We'll see.
Well,
this is a new show. We're gonna try something a little different.
Oh, okay. This is more okay. Well, then don't put it up in the corner.
I actually don't know. I don't know what the editing situation's going to be. I don't know. I just want to ask you a few questions about the stuff that I've been talking about.
Am I fucking it up?
You? No. If anything, I'm fucking it up. Welcome to Bad Intro, Jake.
Welcome.
You directed a film called Break. You wrote, produced, self-released.
You can't see it, but on my shot, there's it says director Break.
Oh, well, that's cool. On my video cam of you, it just says eek.
Yeah, well, eek indeed. Festivals would agree with that review.
Well, that brings me to my first question for you: is why did you self-release this film onto Amazon?
Well. The plan, the dream, is always to get it into a festival. So I planned like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go the route of my heroes and get my movie into Sundance and be the Cinderella story, and hope like a lot of people hope, I guess. I mean, sure. I don't know. It's super naive and shit, but we put together a feature that I think is really strong, that I love, I stand by. But a lot of festivals didn't agree necessarily. That's not me being salty necessarily. It's just like it didn't make the cut, and a lot of festivals. We probably applied to like 20 plus, but they're expensive and it's hard to afford that shit. So it's very measured as you go, here and there, every few months. Like, oh, is this one worth trying? We tried a few big name ones like Sundance, even though I knew that was a long shot, and Slam Dance, but I knew it was a long shot because I'm not a celebrity. I don't know. Like I feel like those aren't what they used to be in terms of kids don't go there and get their flick sold like they did in the beginning of the festival circuit, right? Like it's a matter of, oh, this person who's been in the I for 10 years made an indie movie with a capital I,
right?
With A24 distributing, or Annapurna or some other amazing distribute. Like it's not shitting. It's a fucking. These are my favorite movies that come out. It's just
right.
It's just not the romantic thing anymore for a lot of people. And on the flip side, right, like, way more people are submitting because it's super accessible. All you have to, like you said, I remember a long time ago, like, all you have to do, it's a film, Sundance is a film freeway link now. So imagine, I mean, hey, when we both got rejected from Sundance, like they said the number of how many people submitted.
Yeah. I don't want to put you in any, you and I are in the same boat. My film Clean Sheets that I released as a mini series on YouTube. The only reason why it's a mini series on YouTube is because I tried for 25 some odd film festivals and did not get one of them.
Oh yeah, and that's
or
not
maybe
me
I got
trying to-
one of them, but it wasn't even a screening one. It was like I got a couple honorable mentions, kind of a thing. Cool.
That's not me trying to like sell you out or whatever.
No, I'm not trying to put you in any spot. I feel like that this is the reality of us as independent filmmakers, like submitting to Sundance on Film Freeway together. We know how absurd that is, but also like, well, you got to do it.
Their email was late though. That's the thing I'll say about Sundance. A lot of other festivals got it to me before it was announced what got in, and so the fact that even though I didn't think I'd get in, and I was already starting to get steadily rejected by a lot of other things by the time that one happened.
Right.
I was like, yeah, but you could probably still be like 2 days before I read it on IndieWire. Like, and like even the fact that it's Indie, I was like, I'm not sitting here sucking Brake's dick, being like, that's the movie of 2020. But I did the self-distribution in 2020, and I rushed to do it. Largely because we hadn't really gotten into much. We got recognized by the Maverick Movie Awards, which is like, I think, I don't know that area of the map where you're from. I think it's like up in that corner. It's not like an idiot. New York, New England, whatever that area is, I really don't know it. Like, but that corner of the country. I'm a Midwest boy. It's one of those. I feel fucking horrible because they nominated us for like almost every category, and then Grant Whitaker won for Best Supporting Actor from the Maverick Movie Awards. So that was an amazing feeling.
Right.
And congrats to him because he deserves it. He's incredible, and like that was his first flick. But and then recently, out of like the blue, I heard from the Chicago. The one that the Chicago Park District does, the local Chicago on Screen local film showcase.
Cool.
Where Brake ended up getting in. That whole thing was really cool submitting to them because I submitted to them back in like that October when I was submitting or September even when I was submitting to Sundance and shit. And they were like a free submission.
Oh, cool.
And their whole thing was like, what is Chicago about this? Are there people from the crew that are from Chicago? Like what? And I was like, yeah, I mean, being able to tell them that it was exclusively filmed in, Chicago for a couple days and then about 17 days in Central Illinois and like Canton where I'm from. And being like, yeah, I live in Rogers Park. My producer lives in Andersonville. My fiance, who was my girlfriend at the time, lived in Lakeview. Two of my roommates are in the movie. They live in Rogers Park.
And your fiance is the lead of the film,
yes,
of the film, and your roommates are
the other leads. And like they weren't officially my roommates. So like Arif Yampolsky, who plays AG, and then Kelsey Bunner, who plays Gary. It's actually really weird. I weren't the roommates yet. I bumped into Kelsey in Rogers Park after I'd already lived there for a year. She happened to be from Canton, Illinois, where I'm from, which is the middle of fucking nowhere. And we went to, she's a year older than me, so we went to middle school and high school together. We didn't, like, know each other, but we knew of each other. She was really good in those plays in high school. Like, her graduating class especially put on phenomenal shows in high school. Like, it was actually a sight to see. And she went on to ISU, where a lot of great actors have gone. So did Arif. That's where they met. But I bumped into her, and I was like, I was wearing this shirt. I have no idea if you can see it on my thing, but it says Canton football on it. And she's like, "Did you go to Canton, Illinois?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And she was like, "Who are?" And she's like, "Are you Luke Taylor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Who are you?" Because I literally couldn't remember. I was so shocked to walk across the street from my apartment into Sonny's, like into the corner store, into the bodega or whatever, and just have somebody speak to me. Because I was very, like, solitary. I had just moved to Chicago. I'd been there for a year. I was in a studio. I'd figured out, like, how to live in a city alone and stuff. So I wasn't used to people just speaking to me outright. I hadn't worked I wouldn't work at the theater, so I was like, what are you talking to me for? It shocked me. And then the fact that, like, it was somebody that I knew and it jogged my memory, I was like, what the fuck? This is all a long way of saying, she was like, you should meet my roommates. And at that time, she was living with Arif, who plays AG, and she was living with Taylor Shepard, who plays Marley, who was my girlfriend when we made the movie, when I wrote it. Is my fiance right now, will be my wife in like 3 weeks. So that's cool.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Go marriage. Team wedding.
I'll be there.
Just something to add to the list of 2020. And so the self-distribution route comes in where if everybody's at home, and I've seen, I truly wouldn't have done it if I hadn't seen you do it with scrapers. I honestly think there's probably a lot of that. Whether you realize it or not, there's a big role you play once I get to Chicago, and once I get to the... are you going to bleep out the theater name? Do we say the theater name? Once I get to the theater...
I guess I'm wearing the shirt. So.
Yeah,
I try not to wear the logo, but I try not... Whatever.
But there's a role you play once I'm there, and once like post having a degree and having interned in LA and stuff, where you make filmmaking seem really possible to people like me and then Marissa Lessman and stuff. And like, you know, we don't make those first few shorts like Captain's Chair, which you wrote and shot, or we don't make Close, which is, I mean, yeah, Marissa wrote a pilot of Close and we shot it as a proof of concept / short film or whatever. But we don't do that if you don't, show me scrapers before you even really knew me. And then, like, be like, oh yeah, I'm like, I made a film and then I went and put it on Amazon. So then I see that and I'm like, well, that dude, in the same way that I'm like, oh, Kevin Smith made Clerks. I can make a movie. I should apply to film school the way he did, even though he didn't finish or whatever. Right. But that's the reason I even go to grad school. And then once I'm there, it's like, okay, now I have the piece of paper. And then, you know, you making shit like scrapers and then clean sheets and stuff. And seeing how that kind of scene is working. Like Tom Hush also, like, having No Coast and showing off all those Chicago filmmakers and what they're doing, and Connor Cornelius too, like made it seem like, oh, this is doable and you can do it on a budget, and the skill preached, especially by people like you, is like, there's nothing like writing to produce. So figuring that out helped make our shit, and probably in a weird way led to Break. And then you putting your shit up on Amazon makes me think I put that in my back pocket, and I was like, I won't hit that button. But the fact that it is like an option is amazing, and I wouldn't even have realized, because people are so impressed. You notice that, right? Like when you have it on a thing like Amazon, people get really impressed. Ugh, I'm gonna spoil a lot of like dreams, and please be impressed. It's awesome, but like, it's super. You could do it, right? Like, it's not mad selective. It's kind of this amazing thing where, you are put in front of an audience, and like, there's no way these people would have seen my shit. I don't know. I'm holding my hands up a lot. There's no way people would watch the flick or anything. It would be sitting on a hard drive in my closet, and instead of not getting into festivals for the most part, and aside from like just me seeing the cuts a billion times, that could have been the end of that life. But in a pandemic where everybody's at home, and I'd seen your shit go up on Prime, I buckled down and was like, oh, all I really need to do is get the closed captioning. And so we just churned out some extra money. There was a short window where I moved to LA because Marissa was already here. We had a crossover. She just came back to Chicago, but there was a crossover where we high-fived there, where we finished up a lot of shit really quick because we work really quick. Mm-hmm. It's not a brag. It's just an attention span thing. And just paid however much money it was on like rev.com to have somebody close caption the flick, which was the only, like, the final step. You just have to give them a good file, a closed caption file with it, and then you put it out. But people don't realize that, and so they're like, oh shit, you have a movie on Amazon Prime? Like, Jeff Bezos selected your movie at Sundance Film Festival by hand and thought, Lucas Guy Taylor's Break deserves to be on Amazon. It doesn't work that way,
right.
But it is very magical that it exists. And Amazon's Amazon, and it's a divisive thing, but there's nobody else giving that sort of exposure to independent filmmakers that I know of. It didn't cost me a fee to put it up. I had to pay its production, because it's post. I had to pay to get the closed caption file, but the upload's free. They just had to take some time to do it. It's crazy. And then now, like, I feverishly check how many minutes Break is being watched, and it just wouldn't exist without that avenue. I'm not thankful that there is a pandemic and that there's like an insane body count the world over, and especially in the United States.
Right.
Not especially in the United States. I'm just saying, like, Jesus, sorry, that sounded like we're like a little past fireworks season. So I was like, is that gunshots? But it's not. I think I heard
not
fizzles.
a knock.
I heard,
okay.
Oh, it's not a knock. Fuck. No,
okay.
That's a knock.
That's what it sounded like, a knock.
This is a rapture, dude. All right. I think that was the last one.
Yeah, they finally chilled the fuck out. It's been going from March to July.
July 11th, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Non-stop.
I like fireworks. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, like, the flick being up on Amazon is nice with people being home. That's the only cool business angle of it all. And it's not like my flick was going to play at theaters, unfortunately. It wasn't going to get a theatrical run, and it's better than just putting it up with a link to some site that nobody knows or is going to go to.
Sure.
People have Amazon Prime on their fucking Roku or whatever. It takes them 2 seconds to type it in, and then it's like, oh, it just seems more official. So it's a cool thing to have in my belt. It'd be cool if Netflix bought something, bought Break or something. It's yours if you want it.
Right.
And then that's when life is fucking grand. But
sure, because you and I know the difference between having a movie up on Amazon Prime and having a Prime original film.
Yes, but not everybody else knows that difference.
No, like, it doesn't really... no, because when I pull you up on my app, on my phone, there's a picture of you under Break.
Really?
Yeah, and then it says follow Lucas Guy Taylor, and so every time you put something on, just like it's going to have a picture of me, and I have a picture of me and Taylor up there from your latest short.
Yeah, all right, cool.
So it's true. It does make things very official, and the only thing that separates Amazon Prime from YouTube literally is a closed captioning file, which is what we keep talking about, because when I did Scrapers, I didn't think to use rev.com, which it seems like a beautiful tool to use. I hand typed everything.
Like, I'm telling you, like, $130 or something to do the entire movie, and they gave it back to me in like 2 days.
It's great.
And like, you can attach your screenplay file as well. So like, I gave him my shooting draft, I gave him a list of character names.
That's beautiful.
And shit, and like how it's spelled and everything, like. And then, I can't... Holy shit, dude. Rev.com is, like, they aren't paying me. I paid them, but I would pay them again forever, and I probably will.
Yeah.
What a cool thing.
I'll be using them for clean sheets. I'm not doing clean sheets just yet, but I will be using them and then putting clean sheets up on Amazon.
Yeah, it's like however much... It's like $1.30 a minute or something. Yeah. Give me a break, man. Like...
Well, and so...
Awesome.
This brings me to my next question. If we lived in a world... Okay, well, there's a couple different ways I want to ask this question. We live in a world where you get into film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing still happens.
The pandemic?
Yeah.
Or, well, let's see, which thing? The pandemic?
The pandemic.
The systemic racism, or the fucking... toilet paper crisis, or
all of it.
Carl Reiner died. Like,
I know, it's a bummer.
Like, which one? But so like what? Like, if I got into Sundance magically, like, what's my plan? Like,
how would you feel? I keep wondering as I
fucking, I'd feel excellent. I'd feel on top of the world.
I feel, you know, it's hard enough that I keep getting rejected from film festivals, but also I keep wondering what it would be like if I got into all these film festivals, and then what, I have to Zoom everybody, or what, everyone's just going to be watching the Vimeo link of my film, or so like you spend all this time doing break looking forward to this theatrical experience and the theatrical release. I don't know, just want
yeah, I mean, that would suck. Let me start by saying I think it's probably good that my ass got shut down with break for the most part. My world always kind of works like, I'm cool with like failing first to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I played football for like a decade, and every year we were just god awful. Like, and I mean, like, terrible, man. Like, pathetic. And I had a blast, and I worked really hard, and I tried really hard. But the whole fact of the matter is, I put my whole heart and soul into it, and got nothing but, you know, nothing in return aside from a moral victory. So I've been living off of moral victories since a very young age. So it's cool for me. It's not cool, but it's okay for me to get kind of shit on coming out of the gate. Not shit on, but not welcome with open arms out the gate, because there's a possibility that stunts me. Right. And there's a possibility where I don't angrily rush to do something that I think is super interesting, like with the short we're making right now with you and Taylor, Winnie and Charlotte's last night at the Oasis. Like, I probably don't even make that if I get accepted. But my whole thing is, and to more answer your question, is if break gets in or would have got into Sundance or something, yeah, Sundance was probably a COVID cesspool, but it would have played. But even if it got into other ones and it didn't play or go up, or if it was only like whatever, the fact of the matter was I was banking on either way. I put that pin in the calendar of moving west anyways, because I just felt like that's a different fucking podcast, but
right.
Either way I was going to do it, but it would have been a whole lot nicer for me professionally to have decided to make that move knowing I got into a big festival. And even if the flick gets in and doesn't play the way it was supposed to in front of crowds or screens, my name is a whole lot more relevant or prevalent or whatever.
Sure.
Or maybe I have an agent or a manager by now. I don't. And a pandemic doesn't help that.
Right.
Or anything. And, you know, I'm insanely lucky to be able to live here, and I was insanely lucky to be able to afford to live in Chicago.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm scraping by here, too. But I'm not selling a movie to a studio. I don't have somebody making phone calls on my behalf to sell my next project. But I do have way more visibility than I ever thought imaginable with Amazon. And I did a cool thing, in my opinion, by setting it in my hometown, because it made it very specific. There's never been anything necessarily like that there. And so I got an immediate boost from people who didn't live with it for 2 years. All of a sudden, they were just slapped in the face in 2020 with a movie filmed in their hometown.
Sure.
So, they were like, of course I'm going to watch that, even if the content is this sad dude who's dealing with depression and anxiety and smoking tons of weed and falling in love with this girl. And you know what I mean? Even if that's not their genre, they tuned in right away, and that gave me, a nice little boost I hadn't calculated for necessarily.
Nice.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, it would be somewhat of a bummer too. How would you feel? If you
well, the way you put it, you're absolutely right. The way you put it is, if I can say that I got into South by this year, then I got into South. Then I got into South by.
That's better than a cold email to somebody being like, "You can watch Break on Amazon Prime," which is still awesome, and I'm not knocking it, but it's not
It's like
I'm not the chat. I didn't get chattered about at Sundance or something. Like,
right.
I'm not gonna. I'm like already not following in the footsteps of people I admired, which is difficult to accept because you know.
I understand that whenever I feel that kind of difficulty, I always feel like, but at least we're living in the future and we're living in the Wild West. We're these crazy cowboys right now. Yeah. Kev never had an opportunity to just throw shit up on.
No, and he's being afforded that amazing opportunity now. You see stuff like TBS is doing that celebrity show off,
right?
Where different peeps get to just make stuff in quarantine. That's the whole concept, and the dude's crushing it with like just this like short little like sitcom series that's like you know, not his normal genre, but his whole household is in it and having a blast, and he's crushing it. It's like, oh, here's an opportunity you didn't have otherwise. And yeah, you got like obviously he got reboot sold, and Jay and Silent Bob, he's gonna do that. That's his bread and butter. But the fact that he also gets to do a sitcom is awesome, and it's funny, and it's also like it's stuff that he knows about because you know he said it himself. Like, oh, I've been watching sitcoms for my whole life. I was raised on sitcoms, so I can write a sitcom no problem. But it's also like gets a feature. Having the opportunity to be like, oh, Jay lives down the street. He can be in it too. Like, how can people shooting cell phone videos in their house compete with Kevin putting together this amazing, amazing sitcom? So yeah, the sound's a little off, but they're like, you know, they're actors and writers and directors. They're just crushing it. But yeah, like just now, like he's getting that opportunity and like getting to stream, like getting to go to Netflix with IP and getting to go to Hulu with IP and all this other stuff. But yeah, it's like the same way I can put up Amazon. I can put my shit up on Amazon Prime. There's also a billion different avenues for a movie to get seen as opposed to like the 90s. So I guess I am thankful in that respect. I'm thankful for a lot of things. Like I never take that the wrong way. Like I never ever want to sound like that. Like God damn it, my shit.
No, totally.
Get into fucking Sundance. Like who the fuck am I? Like,
but you and I are both trying to navigate through this ocean.
Yeah,
it's an incredible ocean with a lot of people here. There's a lot of people playing this game and a lot of people trying to reach the top here.
I was until thank God for John Ravenscroft at the Chicago Park District for acknowledging us and stuff, because before that, anything else I submitted Chicago-wise was crickets, dude. Like, anything I submitted to in Illinois until, like, this month when I heard back from them was, like, nothing. So, like, that's all to say that even, like, not only are we in this big sea of people doing it, but even us living in Chicago, like, fuck, dude, we weren't even the only Rogers Park filmmakers.
We got cut off the last time, and we are able to kind of wrap up this conversation for today, right? Thanks so much for being...
You didn't even have to admit it. You're a filmmaker. They don't... Oh, wait, did you already post the other one?
No.
Oh. Well...
I'm a fool.
Yeah. You're not...
All right. So thank you so much for talking. I'm excited to have you back. This is going to be a multi-episode type thing where you talk about your movie theater experience. You saw my little kitty cat. We talk about your movie theater experience, talk more about directing, being the king of Canton. What is it like to be the only filmmaker in Canton, Illinois? What was it like shooting there with your best friends? We got some good self-release stuff talking about, you know, we're talking about some good distribution stuff today. And there's so much more to talk about. So we will continue this conversation. But... in the meantime, I want to play a game with you.
Play. All right.
First thing off the top of your head, okay? You can't really think about it. And I know that this is very spontaneous. You haven't thought about this at all, so.
Right.
What's the song of the episode?
What's the opening song from Oliver and Company?
Ooh. Why Should I Worry?
No, the opening, like the overture, like well, it's always once upon a night in New York City.
That's Huey Lewis, right?
It's fucking. I thought it was Billy Joel. The whole thing, isn't it?
Huey Lewis wrote some music, but Billy Joel was the voice of the Dodger. So
okay,
I know for sure he did "Why Should I Worry," but I just don't think that the other one was really on the sing-alongs, right?
But beginnings are contagious. There's so many. I don't know what it is.
Ooh, Joey Lawrence is a cat.
Oh yeah, wait, it's not Joe. Is it Joey Lawrence?
100% Joey Lawrence as Oliver.
Those Lawrence boys get around, dude.
Dude,
but
they are.
Disney, right?
There's the Barrymores, the Houstons, Lawrence's.
Oliver, don't be scared.
Oh, yeah.
Though yesterday,
there's some good songs in that album. Good one.
Taylor's obsessed with that movie, man. So
really,
like, Disney Plus for Taylor is more like Oliver Plus. It's just even though I bought her the Blu-ray,
she doesn't
it's just a go-to Oliver and Company button.
Nice. You know what we were singing today? James, how are ya? Isn't it a lovely day? And Hillary was saying how weird that was, and I was like, but you have to imagine it in what's-his-face's voice.
James.
What's his name? Not the actor.
My name is James.
No, it's
Randy Newman.
Yeah, you got to imagine it. Randy Newman. They say James.
Well, once upon a peach, there was a dadgum boy. He flew in the sky with some bugs. And then he became a real boy again in New York City.
Living in a peach pit in the park. Okay, very good. All right, you ready? What's the book of the episode?
The Bible.
Good answer.
The holy fucking Bible.
So the whole, like, WHOLLY, like the entire Old and New Testament.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's the weird thing. I just kind of have it on the brain.
It's just usually like 4/5 of that book. I don't really.
Nobody really asks me past that. I usually just say it, and they're like,
"Good answer. Good answer." Let's see Bible on the board. Ding ding. I don't know. There's no board.
I stared down the barrel for it.
Thanks. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it edits.
It should look good in editing.
Nice. All right. Last question of the game. What's the movie of the episode?
Movie of the episode is, oh my god, I'm thinking the Batman Begins.
I knew you were going to say Batman.
It's sitting in front of me, and then you were just talking earlier about the new Batman, Pattinson Batman.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like Mask of the Phantasm or something like that.
Fucking just came on Netflix.
Yeah, didn't it? I've never seen it before. I'm excited.
I had it on 2 days ago.
That's like arguably one of the best Batman movies of all time. Isn't that what people say?
Yeah, have you ever... I think it's about that, not Return of the... No, yeah, it's that. Have you heard that story from Mark Hamill, that when that premiered in theater, like, he went to the theater and bought a ticket, and there was, like, one person or, like, only a couple people in the entire theater, and then plus, like, him... and like his family or his wife or whatever the fuck, and so like he went and like sat with them like during it and shit. Can you imagine sitting with the Joker at like Mask of the Phantasm in theater in the fucking like the grand height of Batman the Animated Series?
Just to wrap it up, do you have anything? What's the last? What words do you want to leave people with?
You can watch Break. You can watch Break on Amazon Prime, dude. For free, stream it. And if you don't like it, feel free to say so. But if you do like it, also feel free to say so.
Nice.
But yeah, that's kind of the theme of the episode, right? Like, if I'm not using this loan opportunity to plug my shit, what am I doing as an independent filmmaker?
Understood.
It's free. It cost me money. Just watch it for free.
Watch Scrapers afterwards. All right.
Yeah, back to back, double feature.
Thanks so much, Luke. I will talk to you real soon, okay?
See you, bud.
So long. James,
All caps.
James, how are you? Eating all the lovely peach.